Today, I'll be teaching you the topic length. The topic length. Let's see how interesting our topic will be. By the end of today's lesson, do you know what you stand to gain? You should be able to develop the idea of length. You should be able to develop the idea of length. You should be able to compare length of 2 or 3 objects. You should be able to compare length of 2 or 3 objects. You should be able to order similar objects according to lengths. All these will be described in today's lesson for better understanding in the slides after. You should also be able to measure length and distance in their natural units. What do we mean by natural units? Natural units are the units that are non-standard. They have to do with the parts of your body. So you should be able to use parts of your body to measure length and distance. You should also be able to apply the length and ordering of length in our environment. Join me in other slides. First of all, what does length mean? What does length mean? When you hear the word length, what does it mean to you? Of course, length is a type of measurement. Length is a type of measurement. It tells us how long or wide something is. It tells us how long or wide something is. Look at this hand. Look at someone using plastic bricks to measure another person's hand. It tells us how long or wide something is. Let's check out some pictures with different lengths. Wow. Look at a teacher and her students. Look at the length of the teacher and the length of her students. One student is quite taller than the other. A teacher and her students have different lengths. I see pencils. Which is the longer? You have a longer one and the short one. I have chalk sticks. I have some that are long and the shorter ones. Then I have tables. Comparing these 2 tables, you could see the longer table and the shorter table. So that's how you also have different objects around you with different lengths. Now, let's arrange objects in order of length. Let's see how some objects are arranged in their order of length. Look at these pencils. The longer one came before the shorter. Now we have made the short pencil to come before the long. Look at the small pencil first, then the long one after. Let's see more pictures. I have 3 different objects here. I have a scissors, I have a crayon, and I have a pen, a ballpoint pen. Now, when I arranged, you could see the crayon was the shorter. I put it first, followed by my ballpoint pen, and then the scissors. Let's see another picture. Look at dad, mom, and their daughter. Now, who is the shorter? The daughter, followed by her dad, then her mom. So I hope you can also arrange objects of different sizes around you to follow their order of length. Did you know you could measure with? Now, this is where I come with my non-standard or natural units of length. Your hand span. Raise up your hand. Your hand span can measure from the tip of your thumb to the tip of your last finger, that is the little finger. You have one hand span. Spread your fingers as you raise your hand. There you have your hand span. They are natural units of length. That was how lengths were being measured before the rulers came. Look at your arm length too. From your elbow to your fingers. That's your arm length. It's usually called 1 cubit. They are called non-standard or natural units of length. Let's see other natural units of length. Yeah. Did you know you could measure with your foot span? Look at a foot here. This is from here to the toes is called a foot span. From the heels of a foot to the toes of the foot is called foot span. I bet you can put your foot on the ground too. You can use, you could put your foot on a white sheet of paper to measure your foot span. You know how long your foot span is. Another one is your strides. Look at how this person is walking, how far your leg can move, one leg after the other is also your strides. How do you walk? What is the highest pace you can walk? You could determine your strides to be short or long. That depends on how far you spread your legs while walking. So all these are natural ways of measuring length. They are called non-standard or natural units of length. I've talked about the hand span in the previous slide and arm length. Now we have the foot span and your strides. You could use all these to measure. Did you know you could measure the length of your table with your hand span or arm length and the length of your classroom with your strides? Let's see pictures to this effect. Look at two pupils using their hands. They are using the two hands at the same time to measure a chalkboard. Hand span measurement. Look at this arm length measurement. A pupil using arm length to measure a table. Can you see? After you place an arm length, you could mark from one elbow to your fingers with a pencil on the table. You start from the longest part of the table, which is the length. You want to measure the length of this table. Just simply put your arm length measurement. That is from your elbow to your finger. You mark where it ends. You start again from where it ends to mark another arm length. That's how to measure with your arm length. Also, I can see a boy measuring the length of a playground with his strides. See how he's moving. He could equally mark each stride with a chalk on the playground, or he could use a stick to mark out how he moves his strides. You could do the same in your classroom. You can measure how the length of your classroom. The length of your classroom is the longest side of your classroom. You could measure it with your strides too. Did you know You could also use strings measured by ruler lengths. You know a ruler, right? You could cut a piece of thread from one end of the ruler to another end of the ruler. Now your string is exactly your ruler length. Now you can place that string beside any object to measure its length. Now I'll be giving you some exercise to carry out on your own. 1. Use your hand span to measure a table or classroom desk. How many hand spans? The second question says use strides to measure the size of your room at home or classroom. Remember, your length is the longest side of your classroom. How many strides can you count? Then the third one, stand side by side with one of your classmates, or it could be one of your siblings. Who is the longer? Good job, champions. I bet you know all the answers to this exercise. You can do it. Yes, you can do it. See you next class.